I really appreciate you guys inviting me here today. What I'd really like to talk about is fish recipes and the connection to the Mediterranean cuisine. And the reason that I want to talk about the Mediterranean cuisine is because I grew up in the Mediterranean cuisine. I am Greek. Both of my parents were Greeks. When I was growing up, none of my grandparents ever had Alzheimer's or mental illnesses at all. My grandmother lived to 96, on one side. On the other side, she lived to 93. My father lived to 104. My mom lived to 91. I married a Greek gal, right? Her parents lived to their 90s. So when we were growing up, we never saw any of our grandmas and grandpas fall apart mentally. Health-wise, they declined, but diabetes and heart issues and hypertension pills, that wasn't part of our regimen, and that's all thanks to our Mediterranean diet. But I grew up at least twice, maybe 3 times a week. We would run to San Pedro to go get fresh fish, and when I'm talking fresh fish, we're talking mackerel, anchovies, and sardines. And a lot of people are going to go, yuck. All right? And that actually is going to lead me to my very first topic that I want to talk about in terms of the Mediterranean cuisine and fish, and that is omega-3s and omega-6s. All right? They're classified as vitamins, right? We all know, we've heard of omega-3s and omega-6s. Yellowtail. A serving of yellowtail, now an average serving for us of protein should be about the size of your fist. That's how much you need every day. A serving of yellowtail will give you between 500 and 700 milligrams of omega-3s and omega-6s. Other fish will have omega-3s and omega-6s. But the oilier and the fattier the fish, the more omega-3s and omega-6s you'll find. Mackerel, tuna, yellowtail, they all have a lot. Even halibut has a lot of omega-3s, a lot of omega-6s. Now, in Europe, years ago, and even now, cod was our main source of fish. And it was huge business for the economy in the Mediterranean, and cod is full of omega-3s and omega-6s. There are different parts of omega-3s and omega-6s that we need in our daily diet every day. Let me just give you a little perspective. We need 1,000 milligrams of that stuff every day. And if you don't have it in your diet, you should at least, as a minimum, go out and get fish tablets. The omega-3s and omega-6s fight off chronic disease. They fight off circulatory problems, heart health. They enhance brain health, right? Remember I told you need 1,000 milligrams a day. How many sardines do you need to eat to get 1,000 milligrams a day? Only 3. A little small jar of sardines has 1,000 milligrams of omega-3s and omega-6s. Now, eating sardines every day, is that better than taking a couple of fish oil tablets? Yes. And you know why? Because when you eat the sardines, you get protein, you get calcium, you get magnesium. With your fish tablets, you're going to get the omega-3s, which is critical. And I know most of you guys probably don't eat sardines. If you guys want to be daring, next time you're on a sports boat and there's some extra sardines in the can, which there always are, bring a few home. All right? Chop off the head, gut them, leave the, as long as they're not the really big ones, right? If they're nice medium size, all you have to do is chop off their head, gut them, and then scale them a little bit. Just takes a little butter knife. There's not very many scales on them. And just dip them in a little flour and put them in a frying pan, and then fry them up and put a little bit of salt on them. Believe me, on my table, we used to fight over the anchovies and the sardines. It's yummy stuff. And think about this. All these wonderful fish that we love to eat, our tuna, our yellowtail, our swordfish, our halibut, they all eat anchovies and sardines. So it's not that bad. And even in the Mediterranean cuisine, they don't eat sardines every day, right? But there are other sources for omega-3s, right? What kind of oil do we eat in the Mediterranean? Olive oil. An unprocessed, healthy olive oil. Olive oil is full of omega-3s and omega-6s. So that's the first topic I really want to stress, is learn about omega-3s and omega-6s. If you're not taking fish tablets every day, run to the market, go get some fish tablets and make it, fish oil tablets, and make it part of your diet. You will live longer, your brain will thank you for it, your heart will thank you for it, your circulatory system will thank you for it. It's just dynamite stuff. Okay. The other topic I want to talk about is collagen. How many of you guys know what collagen is? Oh, there's a, okay. You know, the women really know about collagen, right? Because they can go into their beauty supply shop and go buy collagen tablets, and it helps your skin, right? It helps you, it prevents your skin from getting wrinkly, makes you look nice and young and beautiful. That's what collagen is. But in reality, what collagen is it's a protein that all animals have, and it's a protein that we need. It makes our fingernails, it makes our hair, it makes our skin, it makes all the connective tissues in our body. It connects our muscles to our bones. Collagen. When we're young, our body makes plenty of collagen, and that's why young people look so nice and vibrant and fresh. But as we age, our ability to make collagen diminishes. And what we've got to do is we've got to be smart about the foods that we eat that helps our body produce more collagen. Have you guys ever had a fish soup or a beef soup, you know, that was made with bones, and then put it in the refrigerator, and the very next day you take it out of the refrigerator and it looks like Jell-O? Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay? That's not fat. Some people will go, oh, that's fat. It's not fat.
No.
That's gelatin as a result of collagen that came from the bones. All right? Bone broth. I don't know if you guys have heard about this new craze about bone broth. The whole deal with bone broth is because you're extracting the collagen out of the bones of animals, and now you're intaking it. And that is a big deal for us. We need collagen every day. And why is collagen important to us? Not only is collagen for our fingernails and our hair and our skin, but collagen is for our bones. All right? As we grow older, one of the biggest problems we have is falling and breaking our bones. And we know that it can be really devastating and lead to, you know, a long time in the rehab center, maybe end up with a cane or in a wheelchair or whatever it is. We need to maintain our bone strength with calcium and collagen. But keep in mind that just merely taking calcium and merely taking collagen isn't going to do the trick. Our bones are living cells in our bodies. And if we don't exercise and stress our bones give up the calcium and they give up the collagen. All right? And makes our bones even more fragile. So exercise is the key to maintaining bone strength along with calcium and collagen. All right? When I cook fish, I reluctantly take the skin off. If I can cook my fish with the skin on, I will cook it with the skin on. In the Mediterranean, we eat a lot of small fish with the skin on, and many times when we're eating sardines and anchovies, we will eat the bones and the head. But if you look at it from a perspective of health, not only are you getting collagen, because collagen is in the bones, it's in the skin, right? You're getting the protein, you're getting the omega-3s. See how this picture all comes together? By eating these whole foods, we're getting the essential nutrients that our body needs for a long, healthy life. All right? So today, I've got two things that are important so far. Omega-3s, omega-6s, and collagen. Google collagen and find out which foods offer collagen. And you'll be surprised. Kiwis, berries, tomatoes, almonds. These are all whole foods that we need to have in our daily lives to make sure that our body is producing enough collagen so we have strong bones, we've got a healthy looking skin, we've got our hair that's long gone. All right? And so we can maintain a healthy life. So any questions so far about either of those two topics? Go ahead.
Well,
how do you use the bean after you say it comes out as a gelatin?
Sure.
Do you add it? I mean, or you just eat the way it is?
Well, okay, so what happens is when you put your soup in the refrigerator and it's properly made with bones, whether it's fish bones or beef bones, it'll turn into Jell-O, right? But when you heat it back up in the oven and it's time to have leftovers, it heats right back up. And the way you can tell if your soup has got that collagen is when you're eating that wonderful soup, like a Mexican pozole that was made with pork bones, your tongue is going to stick to the roof of your mouth because of that gelatin, that gelatinous gooiness, and it's going to offer you these wonderful deep flavors, and you're going to say to yourself, oh boy, this is a really good homemade soup, right? So that's what happens. And just the fact that I told you that it turns into Jell-O and you look at it, that's a good indication that yes, indeed, there is collagen in this soup, and this soup is very healthy for me.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I thought it was fat, and I'd scoop it up.
Right, very common. No, believe me, I did too. It's very common. The fat, you'll see, like if you make a chicken stock and you put the chicken skin in there, the fat is a yellow and it's usually skimmed on top. But the rest of it will turn in, like I make soup with white sea bass head. They can get pretty big, right? I'm telling you, the whole thing just turns into Jell-O. And then I look at it now knowing what I know and go, that's healthy stuff. I'm going to have that all week long, and that'll make up for the collagen intake that I need on a daily basis. Okay.
So when you speak of bean broth, it's actually your fish soup, because my wife uses vegetable broth and chicken broth and beef, and she adds it to other recipes.
Sure. And yeah, absolutely. Now you're not going to get as much collagen from vegetables. Thank you. No, thanks, Ken. You're not going to get as much collagen from vegetables as you do from animals. So whenever you you make a beef stock or a beef broth, or a fish stock or a fish broth, or a chicken broth, or a pork broth, you're going to end up with lots of collagen if that broth was made with the bones.
Oh, okay.
If that broth was made with the bones.
How do you know that?
By the next day, well, yeah, number one, you made it, or you know who made it, and the next day when it's in your refrigerator, it's left over, it turns into Jell-O. You look at it and you go, oh, there it is. There's the collagen that my body needs. So far we've talked about omega-3s, omega-6s, we've talked about collagen. I urge you guys to go home and Google that. And here is the last topic I want to talk about that we do in the Mediterranean that helps long life as well, and that is the gut biome. How many people know what in God's name I'm talking about? A gut biome. Okay? Wow. See, this is the reason I'm so excited to be here, because I want to introduce you guys to this stuff and get your minds ticking and help you guys with your overall health. In our intestines, we have a complete system of organisms of bacteria and fungus that live in our guts. Okay, let me give you a little perspective on how important this group of bacteria and fungus is that lives in our intestines. All of you know about your immune system. We have an immune system in our body, right, that fights off diseases and allergies and all kinds of stuff. Let me ask you a question. What part of our body controls and regulates our immune system?
The stomach.
That's a great answer. The stomach, right? But what part of the stomach does that?
The digestive system.
The bowel.
You guys are so close, and I'm so proud of you. You're so close, and I'm proud of you. It is the independent bacteria and fungus that lives in our intestines, that lives in our digestive system, that controls our immune system. It is independent bacteria that lives in our intestines that directly communicates, manages, and commands our immune system. Our immune system being our white blood cells. So we've got these independent little parasitic organisms Actually, they have a sympathetic relationship with us. We feed them, they help us. And the way they help us is they control our immune system to help us fight off diseases, to help fight chronic ailments that we have, to keep us healthy and strong. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have some bad bacteria in our gut as well as good. But if you have a proper diet, your good bacteria and good fungus will overwhelm the bad and function properly and keep you healthy and strong. So now that you understand what gut biome is and what it really, really does, it controls our immune system, and our immune system is the key to our health and our ability to fight off diseases. Where does the gut biome come from, and how do we nourish it, and how do we make sure that it's doing the job it needs to do? By eating the proper foods. That's what feeds our gut biome. By eating tons and tons of fruits and vegetables, and a varied amount of fruits and vegetables. And by the way, yogurt, good. Now, you guys have all you heard about this yogurt craze and Greek yogurt. I urge you guys not to get carried away and buy these small little containers of flavorized yogurt with fruit and sugar and all this crazy stuff. Us Greeks, we eat yogurt in a sweet and savory way. We love yogurt. And by the way, every household in Greece makes their own yogurt. Okay? And that's why Greek yogurt has become so famous. But we eat it in a sweet and savory way. For example, for breakfast, typically I'll have yogurt, I'll have walnuts, I'll have berries. All right? Yogurt has got live probiotics. Probiotics are what I'm talking about, the gut biome. So when you hear about foods that have probiotics in them, like how about those little itty bitty bottles of Yakult that come from Japan? And it says those are rich in probiotics. Those are rich in probiotics. And what they do is they fortify your gut biome. Yogurt it's actually a fermented food. It's what you do is you add a little bit of bacteria to your milk, and you boil it, and you let it sit overnight, and it ferments, and then it firms up, and then you've got yogurt. So we will eat yogurt in a sweet way where we'll put some honey and some berries on it, and then we will also eat yogurt in a savory way where we add garlic and cucumbers and make our national sauce, which is called tzatziki.
Yeah.
Right? You guys have heard of that. So if you're going to get into yogurt, go out and buy Mountain View is a great yogurt. Buy a big tub of it and read the label and make sure that it has probiotics in it. And don't worry about the small little containers are convenient and they're a little more expensive, but they're just nowhere near as good as if you buy a big, plain, either non-fat or whole-fat yogurt. And try and incorporate yogurt into your life, because when you go to the doctors and they give you antibiotics because you've got the bad flu or you've got some kind of a problem, the first thing hopefully a doctor will do is tell you, when you start feeling a little bit better, start eating some yogurt to replenish, because when you take antibiotics, you're killing off some of that gut biome that you've got. And they'll tell you, go out and get some yogurt to replenish your gut biome. All right? So that's why in the Mediterranean, we almost eat yogurt every day. You've got to learn, go to Google and Google gut biome. Biome is spelled B-I-O-M-E. And learn what it takes to maintain a good gut biome. So what are the topics that I covered today that I want you guys to go and do a little bit of research on on Google to improve your overall health, so you guys can fish longer and be healthy and strong and not worry about being on a boat and falling over and breaking a leg? Who can tell me one of the topics?
Omega-3 and 6.
Yes. Collagen. Great.
Biome.
And the gut biome.
Good.
That is what the Mediterranean diet is all about.
Well, I think that's great. Let's give them a big hand. If we follow his advice, later we could change our name to the Young Senior Anglers.
There we go.
We want to get a picture of you out here. Put you in the center.
Okay. Thank you.